Hello, I'm John Joe. Welcome to Lime War. Today we've got Valithor2 playing against Proshelest. Again, we had watched a battle of this recently. Both these players fighting it out. And Proshelest was very good on the offensive, building a massive army, sending it straight to Valithor. And Valithor managed to overcome the attacks with some sneaky strategies. So I'm going to assume we're going to have similar things happening today. I wonder what Valithor is going to come out with in this game. So Proshelest has started with 5 barracks and a factory that's still being built there, with 1 barrack still being built. It's important to note as well that there is a separate island over here. Proshelest has the ability to get trade routes set up and potentially build through this area. On the other side of things, Valithor has got mountainous areas which will help him with stealth. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 barracks set up. So, starting off with only infantry. We do have some commandos planned here to come down this way and sneak in behind Pro. Other than that, it's going to be just managing the infantry at this point. And that is definitely artillery coming out of there again. So we have infantry backed up with artillery over the mountains. And Pro has trying to take an advantage here and go straight in to attack Valithor. These are flag commands, so they're trying to capture the territory, but these guys are in the territory, so they can't, so they're attacking them. So Valithor this time is not forgetting to expand. He is sending some units that way. In my opinion, not enough, and he does have an arrow command here instead of a capture command. I think he's trying to get some eco built up. He might be trying to get here first. Take that out. I don't think that is an error because none of the other commands are arrows. Either way, it looks like Pro has been forced back from this area. But in the other sides of the battles, it looks like Valithor's running here and may lose this engagement for now. But it's backed up by quite a lot of production, so maybe that's what Valithor is relying on there. Yeah, so Valithor has already planned everything he's going to expand out to. And he doesn't have to worry about it anymore because they will even return this one here. Whereas Pro is more focused on the offensive side of things. He is going to capture this territory. I don't know if he's going to actually build on it. There we go, we've got an artillery in the mountains now, and Valithor can see that. Even though it's stealthed in the mountains, he's got enough vision here to spot those. And Valithor's redirecting his units to go sort of diagonally across this way. He knows where the production's coming from. Over in this section, it looks like, although Valithor was on the run for a bit... Oh no, it was Pro that was on the run here anyway, so he's being overpowered. Valithor has chased him and captured a lot of the units there. And Pro is just trying to push them back in. So it looks like Valithor might be winning most of these fronts right now, but the artillery backing up the infantry may end up swinging this favour a bit later on when he gets a bit more artillery production going, which they are trying to do right now. At the same time, these units have stopped capturing land. I think Pro is too focused on the front line right now. And potentially needs to focus more on expanding. At the beginning of this game, they both did try to start in this location that they're fighting for right now. I think they wanted this energy well, because they wanted this area, blacklisted it, and blacklisted this area as well. But having the artillery just on the edge of the mountains here, it's actually quite effective. Probably be better if there was more, but you know, he's using what he's got. But these units crossing the mountain are going to end up walking slower. Even on haste, they'll be quite slow. The artillery is going to get more shots off there. It probably won't be enough to survive, but all this little extra damage will help in the long run. And it looks like Valithor is losing ground here. Possibly because of the artillery moving in with some extra infantry units. But Valithor's not too worried about that. He's just going to go around them instead. We did have commandos moving down this way. They are still going that way. with commandos, it might be better using an arrow command just to increase their stealth a bit, because although Pro can't see the commandos, he can see the areas being captured as it goes. And Valithor's really sneaky, so it wouldn't surprise me if he tried to get right into the back before actually capturing some territory. There we go. So, actually I just noticed these are on haste mode, so they're trying to get through the mountains really fast to get to the artillery. But the haste mode is also reducing their health. Fatigue damage, I think they call it. They're losing health as they sprint across to this area. And Valithor is trying... No, Proshelest is trying to get some mini artillery to go this way. And just try to overpower them in the mountains. But to be fair, Pro is spreading his units out now. They've got all their units moving and expanding through those territories. Let's have a look at the eco. It looks like Pro is struggling with his eco right now. He's on 428. Whereas Valithor is on 476, so he's only just a bit ahead right now. Which is potentially going to change very soon as these guys come in through this section of the map. They're going right through the middle. Valithor is forced to set up some form of a defensive line as more units come in to reinforce Pro's attack there. And Valithor unfortunately just can't get through on this side either, as more infantry are being pushed in through that way as well. As you can see from the lines here, Pro is sending his units this way to stop any attacks, and he's going to try and reinforce himself that way. Down here, it looks like Pro has quite a good amount of vision, and we might see some engagements with the commandos down there. But Pro is trying to group up his artillery specifically in one location, rather than having them spread out this way and that way, so that he can have that critical mass where they become so powerful they destroy anything that comes close to them. He's just trying to get to that point that little bit faster. There you go. Valithor's commandos are grouping up into fours now, and I think most of the units in that section will be able to be taken out. There's 5 there. I think the commanders can take that quite easily, but they're spread out a bit more. But Pro has spotted this. He knows something's going on. So he's going to be sending his units that way. Check it out. So his artillery, he positioned them there, and I'm not sure I agree with that. He's probably better off trying to position them here, because the mountains would have protected them with that little extra speed. But being here, that is literally one of the few gaps where they're going to be able to walk a bit faster. Unless you can tell me a reason otherwise. Let me know in the comments below if you think that Pro should have maybe moved them behind the mountains a bit more, just to see if Valithor, like, to give more damage to Valithor. Either way, let's have a look at the commandos from Valithor. He's got his... Yep, they're going to take out these 2 here. And Pro can't even see them. He can see his units going down, so he might be able to figure it out. But it is going to take him a little while. It looks like despite the normal speed here, Pro was able to push Valithor back. I think that's why Valithor attacked there, because of the speed. The benefits of speed there rather than in other places on the map. Thought that might have been his best chances. Unfortunately for Valithor, in the last game he had to spread himself out quite a lot, but in this one he hasn't actually been able to do that yet. So if he does lose this main area, it might actually be too much of significant damage that it might actually hinder him too much in the game. But then we've got to remember he does have commandos in the back of Pro's base, so that's going to be hard for him to defend against as well. Yep, so Pro's efforts are mostly through expanding is where he is spread out, but otherwise the majority of his army is also in one place and trying to take out the production of Valithor. That is pretty much his main objective right now, is to get into this area and take out anything he can see. It looks like Valithor has something down here. Yep, it's a commando, two commandos. So Pro is going to have to deal with them as well. Now Valithor does have some artillery on the ground to try and help against the artillery from Pro. But unfortunately I just don't think that's going to be enough. I think Valithor is going to lose a lot of the area here. And I think Pro thinks he's managed to get away from this. The commandos passing through. He may figure it out, but it looks like he hasn't noticed. But with these units grouping together now, he's potentially able to see some of these commandos coming through. Yeah, you can see them now, so they are not going to attack for free. There we go, the artillery are pushing through, they're getting into the artillery in this section, and they are probably going to win this engagement. There is far too many artillery here to deal with the small amount of artillery that's just defending it. We still have some couple of strays, but Pro still hasn't taken advantage of this island here, which would be a lot of territory eco for him to gain. So Pro has managed to break through most of the defense here and is taking away some of the structures of Valithor, which is going to hurt a bit. So Pro's eco is at 500, which is where he's going to be suffering, because Valithor's eco is at 692. So Valithor does have more money to be able to come back on this. And as his structures get destroyed, his eco will go up because his capital spending will go down without having to have the upkeep or production costs of these units, which is always the benefit of being attacked. It's a bit weird, but it just kind of gives you that chance to come back in the game. And so far, Valithor's commandos are doing a very good job at taking away some of Proshelest's actual income. Not only is he gaining income down here, he's taken away from Pro. And he's also built a barracks here to support or reinforce the attacking army there. But Pro is aware of this. He's going to be trying to attack this with a few units. It's not quite enough, but I don't think he knows that yet. Up in the north, the main battle is still raging on. And slowly but surely, Pro is taking out these structures. Another one goes down. Left with one barracks and two factories in this key location right now. But both players tried to argue over at the beginning. But looks like Pro's going to end up taking that. I have just spotted that Pro's trying to sneak a few units around this way. And is being defended by a commando and two infantry, which might be enough. Only thought another infantry's just joined in, so it's definitely going to be enough. Over here, these artillery is slowly curving around to take out these structures as the reinforcements come in. But as they're taking out structures, they are being fired upon by the other artillery, so it looks like Valithor potentially could save the factories, or at least do a lot of damage for Proshelest to take out those factories anyway. There you go, Pro's got his units coming down here. The commandos are being taken out. And he's checking out this area of the map, which has been taken away from him. The Valithor's retreating, and he's going to let Pro have this barracks there, and it goes down. But he is trying to set up his units in a more defendable situation with fortifications. And ignoring this army here, Valithor is rushing some units around to go straight into that base. They are on haste mode, but they will attack anything they come into contact with. And with the amount of barracks there's 5 in this area that are going to be trying to reinforce this attack. They might actually be able to break through and take in some damage. Take away some of that production from Pro. There we go, the defensive line is being attacked quite heavily. I don't think it's going to be enough to have that defense there, but it will hold Pro back just that little bit longer. And Valithor needs just that little bit of time to get his units to build up in this area to come down and attack. Or even in that southern area where the commandos are. Which Pro is just simply trying to take out with a couple of units, and it's not going to be enough against the commandos that are there. There we go, they are appearing out of nowhere from the group of units here being able to see them. But there's too many commandos there, it's just going to take them out. Pro needs to commit a few more units into that southern attack. But I think he is more concerned about the production from Valithor rather than the potential threat that will be a bit more severe later on. So, it looks like this factory is being attacked by one random unit as they try and take the territories. But I'm sure it won't be long until that is destroyed as well. There's another artillery about to pop out of there. I don't think it'll be able to do much to change that. But not only is the attacks coming in from the left side, they are going to be coming down from this side as well. What is Valithor doing up here? We've got he's doing pretty well taking over the territory. He's still gaining territory. So Valithor's eco is going up. And there we go. So Pro was successful at taking out Valithor's main location. Pretty much the same as before in the previous battle. They did manage to take out the main location of each other. So Pro's going to have a hard time trying to deal with this attack coming down here because most of his units are on this front line. And Valithor's got a good group of units down here that might actually be able to take out these exposed structures. But I think he's more just taking the territory out. These guys are going to be what's going to try and take out some structures. He's also sending in commandos to try and support this attack from the south. With even extra production right now. He's got 5 barracks in total down there. But a lot of this is distractions. He's trying to make Pro wait as long as possible in this area. Trying to hold off these artillery so that he can survive longer and get this damage going while Pro is distracted up in the north. There we go, he's lost some production there. He's trying to get these units to go a bit faster, go in a straight line. Might even be wise to just send these guys not to reinforce here, but just to go in straight, there we go. Just like that, to go straight this way instead. What can Pro see if that base down there? You can see there's a barracks there. But he's gonna know that's a bigger threat than it used to be. The Pro's confident he's building his structures just behind this main army, which is probably quite wise. As down here is being quite heavily attacked, so this is probably one of the few safe places for him right now. But Valithor is losing a lot of production very fast in this game. He's lost the main location over here, and not long after this location, he's got a few barracks left over there, which probably won't take long to destroy. But in doing so, Pro has left his main base exposed. And these commandos and infantry are just going to plow through this area for a bit. See what damage they can do. And I don't think Valithor... No, Pro has taken this island here. Nope. He could have done it with just like a transport jet and one commando. Or a transport boat. And then he could have got some extra territories. I think the transport boat would have been a better idea. Just purely because of the extra territory. But Pro is having to deal with all of these little battles going on down here from either side, as well as maintaining his momentum up in this section. It looks like he thinks Valithor's still hiding up in these little areas. So he's going to try and take over as much territory that way as he can. Let's have a look at the eco at this point. So Pro is still only on 450 per minute, whereas Valithor is on 900, so he is doubling Proshelest in economy which will allow him to build more attacking points like this one here to put pressure on Proshelest's main base. Oh, we have an airfield. Valithor is switching up from infantry into air by the looks of it. There's the energy wells up here. He's got 3 of them to be fair, 4. So he's going to have a lot of energy. He could fund quite a big air force there. I don't even know if that's in great range. It might be trying to prepare for the army that's this way to come that way, and he could attack it with the air units. As I don't think Pro has built any anti-air at all. I don't see any SAM units anywhere. So Valithor might take Pro off guard, not just on the ground with commandos, but from the air as well. Now, there's a fair amount of commandos going in this way, but Pro can't see them. You can see this group here now, actually, to be fair. But there is a second group coming in that Pro is only just noticing now. So he's bringing in his artillery to try and take him out, but that is a lot of commandos in one small location, and Valithor doesn't expect them to survive, but just do enough damage. And those commandos are trapped between 2 groups of artillery. But as they are moving this way, this army was here, the artillery are moving down. Valithor is moving up and around to their old location to take out some structures from behind. And instead of trying to stay in this place and take out the structures, he's gone for one side and focused his attacks on that location, potentially to allow these units an easier place to get through. There goes. Pro is struggling to defend this. He's moving back and forth. He is now having to choose which way to send this army, or having to split it up if he decided to. Some of his army have returned back this way, and I assume, yeah, the other army is going to go that way across. As Pro can see the units coming in from this way, he's going to start focusing his efforts there. But it looks like Pro's main location only has 4 production structures now, and that is it. So he's still got some in the mountains from where he was attacking and building behind himself. But one of them is still in production, so he's got 6 in total. He's going to lose another factory right now if he can't take out these commandos quick enough. Yeah, he does. He's lost a factory. And he's only really got barracks left and 1 factory. Whereas Valithor, on the other hand, has 8 barracks in the south. Nothing left over in this location. He's got 3 airfields going now. And he's trying to focus on his energy production to make sure he can fund this army. And he's going for a lot of helicopters. 3 airfields producing helicopters constantly. Against someone who hasn't even got a single SAM unit. So Pro tried to go on the offensive here, but it was stopped by these commandos that are just tearing through the artillery. On the other hand, there is a big group of artillery here moving downward. I think Valithor is just going to let them take that path. And just, as he always has, move around them and go straight for the base. Valithor's main tactic here seems to be to stop the production of the enemy. Take out the units where he can. Making the most of his opportunities, I guess you could say. And he's trying to get into this location really fast before these artillery can get into place and do too much damage to him. Pro has spotted the 2 barracks down here through the fog of war. I think these were spotted a while ago. So he's going to focus his army to go that way, and they might end up missing this barracks here, even if they manage to destroy it, because it's in the forest. Even if they could see that, they might not be able to see through the style. Over in this location, it looks like Valithor is trying to hold off Proshelest, at least just to try and stop him from seeing what he is producing right now. Because Pro does not know there are air units anywhere on this map right now, and as soon as he spots them, he's going to try and switch into anti-air. Valithor is trying to keep that a secret for as long as possible. There you go, as you can see, we can see where that barracks is built. We just can't see the barracks itself. It's right on the corner of that territory. Yes, Valithor should be exposed here, but Forest is protecting him. There's 2 commandos just breaking through here. Well, there's 1 left, actually. But he's going to have some issues soon. There we go, he's gone. It looks like Pro is going to sweep out this location right now. And with his units over here, might actually take out all of the production from Valithor. Unless they don't spot this one over here, the barracks. Pro is now probably feeling quite confident. And I wonder what his eco is. He's probably taken over quite a lot. 600, and Valithor is at 800. There you go. So Pro is getting his units to sweep it down here. He spotted the barracks there, so he's going to try and take those out. And I think he might wonder if that's the last threat to take. Might be feeling quite confident in that, but Valithor, get rid of that, is going to bring out his next surprise, which is the helicopters, which Pro can see right now. And I wonder if he spotted it and switches it into Sam, because that is a lot of helicopters, and he's going to need to do something about that really quickly. And I think that's why Pro was able to take out this location. Though he hasn't managed to succeed down here, but he was able to take out this location, or at least push it back heavily, because he was investing a lot of money in helicopters, which he could have been investing down there. So he decided to switch into helicopters just because the enemy wasn't producing any SAM units. There we go, he switched it out. He's only got 1 to produce though. Only 1 factory left, and the helicopters are going to clear out that entire army in just seconds. So I think the helicopters was a very good switch there. Pro still has a lot of production. He has more than enough energy right now. And certainly enough energy potential with 2 more spaces. And now those helicopters are going to move towards this and take out some of the production, as well as the units on the way. And I don't think Pro has much they can do to defend that. They definitely need to try and take out the structures that are down here and move up really fast. There we go, those helicopters are going to take out the structures very quickly. There's still some units they're going to target. They took out the barracks over here. They've got this other barracks now to take out. And down it goes. Along with the last 2 units there that are going to survive that attack. But there are still those units following behind the helicopters. So helicopters are interesting because their range is the shortest, but that's only in jumps that they have to make. So they're following this path and they can land here and then follow the path again to land here and go further. So helicopters, I think they actually have the most range. Maybe I'll have to make a command school video about how far the helicopter's range is. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments below. I did try testing it once, but it didn't really work out for me, not in the way that Valithor's using them now. So at this point, these helicopters have travelled across half of the map, and Pro has only managed to build 1 anti-air unit, which those helicopters will prioritise targeting and take it out pretty quick. Unfortunately for Valithor, he has lost his barracks down here, but he still has the 4 here and the 2 over here. So now the helicopters are distracting Pro. Not that Pro can do too much about it. He's left these commandos to build up, and they're going to be a bigger problem for him now. As Pro probably feels fairly surrounded. As these helicopters are still building up in numbers, they are still coming in, reinforced through this area. And they'll be taking out all the units and the structures there as well. SAM unit's going to get prioritised again. We did take out 1 helicopter there, another one there as well. He now does have 2 production of SAM units. But unfortunately, it's not enough when the commandos are breaking through in that location. There we go, the helicopters are going to start taking down, hitting the structures now and taking those out. The commandos are hitting from the south, taking out some more structures. I think it is game over for Valithor. Though he does have one artillery up in the mountains there, which suddenly died, probably from commandos. And I don't think Pro took over the island. No, he definitely didn't. But Valithor, since he's got the airfields up and running, he could have set up a commando to check out that island just in case. Certainly want to know whether your enemies advanced over there. There we go, we've reached the end of the match. I'm going to assume Valithor won. So, let me know what you thought of that match. I did like the interesting switch into helicopters and kept it as a surprise for a long time. And I think Valithor did a very good job at trying to be sneaky and keep his plans a secret, to be fair. So, if you like what you see, then feel free to subscribe. There are 2 videos on screen right now. And thank you for watching. I'll see you there.